What's good, YouTube? Masex back with another video, and today we're going to be continuing the series, if you want to call it. We're going to be looking at some receivers like I mentioned in the last video with the running backs. If you haven't watched that already, definitely check that out after this video. I got a few receivers for y'all on track for a monster year, just to be real with y'all. Of course, if you're new to the channel, definitely like and subscribe as we got videos coming back. I'm in the midst of a comeback right now. Took a little bit of time off, but I'm definitely back, ready than ever. Yeah, it's the dead period, but hey, there's always something to talk about in football. Of course, if you're an OG, I appreciate the support. Definitely go ahead and throw your comments in there. I love the debates, just like in the last video, some decent engagement there. But we're gonna look at my wide receivers. These are all receivers, by the way, that are projected to go to the NFL draft. Let's go ahead and get into it. We got these receivers I know are gonna ball out, and without further ado, let's get to it. All right, starting things off, and once again, these are players, and this also includes the running back and the quarterbacks video. These are players that are eligible for the 2026 class. So no freshmen, no true sophomores. So let's go ahead and get things started with Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. This redshirt junior is listed at 6'1", 195 pounds. Last year, Arizona as a whole broke out, but Jordan Tyson was definitely a big reason with his breakout, almost 1,100 yards receiving, PFF grade of 80.3, really good score there. Balled out and was one of the nation's most efficient wide receivers. Pro Football Focus listed 4.03 yards per route run. That's elite. It's really a measure. It takes into account run-pass tendencies for offenses. Obviously, there's some teams that throw 43 times a game, and there's teams that throw 20 times per game. So yards per route run is something that I really look at to see the efficiency overall for that wide receiver. And the big reason why he's so efficient, he's a really good separator. He understands route tempo. College DBs just have a really hard time staying with this guy. Has an NFL prospect at the quarterback position throwing him the ball, and Sam Levitt, who, if you haven't seen the quarterbacks video, he was included in that list. I'm not sure how Arizona State will do as far as duplicating how their 2024 season went, but with Jordan Tyson, and if he could take that next step with his quarterback, at least offensively, Arizona State's going to be a fun and scary team to watch. Next up, we got Elijah Surratt out of IU, listed at 6'2", 209 pounds. True senior this year. He's one of Coach Cignetti's James Madison transfers who adjusted very well last year in 2024 to Big Ten play, coming from an FCS school, though a powerhouse nonetheless at James Madison. Obviously, IU had a historical season last year. Surratt was a big part of that. And only Jordan Tyson and Jeremiah Smith have the most returning receiving yards in Power 4. He's not talked about enough that I feel he deserves to be, and that's not just because I'm an IU guy, but if you turn on the tape, I mean, the talent's clearly there. He's more of a 50-50 guy. He's tied for 7th last year with 16 contested catches, according to PFF, a 90.3 PFF grade since 2023, so the last 2 years. Once we're in the 90 grades, that's considered elite. So I definitely look forward to Elijah Surratt next year. Show everybody, because IU, like I mentioned, was one of the more polarizing programs in the nation, that last year was not just a fluke, and we're going to double down and have a great season. If Surratt balls out, that's only going to increase our odds. Moving on to my next receiver, and that's Carnell Tate out of Ohio State. True junior, listed at 6'3", 191 pounds. Definitely more of a lankier build. And Carnell Tate, I would say, is rather known. I mean, Ohio State, obviously over the last several years, it's become wide receiver U. Obviously, they have a generational prospect in Jeremiah Smith, who's a true sophomore, not eligible. But Carnell Tate is definitely that next receiver who's projected to go at the NFL level. So Carnell Tate, even though he's the true junior, Smith is the alpha dog #1. But Tate is another alpha size wide receiver and has really good size, 6'3", albeit under 200 pounds listed. But even with that size, he's a hell of a separator. PFF gave him a 93% separation rate. So he knows how to get open. He knows how to use that length. Carnell Tate, I wouldn't say he's a sleeper, but at the same time, I think he'll be more of a household name. All right, next up is one of my favorite receivers in this class, and that's Makai Lemon out of USC, listed at 5'11", 190 pounds. True junior. He reminds me of Amon-Ra St. Brown. I mean, I know that's low-hanging fruit, USC, similar build, slot predominant projection if we're looking at the NFL. But like Amon-Ra St. Brown, he's very efficient, third in yards per route run at 3.03. He knows how to get open. He knows how to find the holes in zone. I watched him do that many times. Watch his film. He's very dynamic and dangerous after the catch as well. Yak ability is a quarterback's best friend. A guy that you can throw a 7-yard out route and he's going to get you another 6 to 7 yards after that 7-yard depth of throw. There's other areas of development for sure. At the end of the day, if we're looking at December, January, he possibly could be the #1 ranked receiver going into the NFL draft next year. All right, and last but not least, we got none other than Malachi Fields. Now at Notre Dame, listed at 6'4", 220 pounds. Fields is one of the older prospects in this class. He's a redshirt senior. After several years at Virginia, this will be his first year at Notre Dame. Now, Malachi Fields, as you can see, and you'd probably assume from his size, he's your classic old school prototypical X wide receiver, 6'4", over 220 pounds, runs very physical routes. Last 2 years, 23 contested catches. Kind of shows you what style of play he has. Isn't the best separator, but can really shield the DB when securing the ball. Quarterback play, if you could imagine, at Virginia was not the best, and I'm being pretty nice when I say not the best. Notre Dame hasn't been known for elite QB play themselves, but in theory, you would project that the offense will be better, supporting cast around him, and overall QB play for Malachi Fields. I'm curious to see how he looks in that offense. I put Malachi Fields on this list because I really think that he has the skill set to have like a Xavier Legette type of breakout. All right, there you have it. These are my receivers. Keep your eye on this year. I really think that they can improve their stock a lot. I think some of these receivers will be more of a household name as we get into October, November, December. Short list right now. We'll see later on this year when I'm making projections for the NFL draft. If some of these guys are still on that list, there'll definitely be those added to that list. But of course, like I always say, if you made it this far in the video, I deeply appreciate it. You're a real one. If you haven't already, definitely like, comment, subscribe to this channel. I know that there's receivers that you guys felt I left off this list, so I want to know them. Hey, I'm still in the beginning processes of looking at players, so just name some guys so I can take a look at them and make my own opinion about it. So yeah, be on the lookout for the next video coming. But other than that, I appreciate you guys. I hope y'all have a good one. I'm out of here. Cheat.